Hi, Carol. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Elijah. How are you doing today? Thank you for
I'm doing,
having me here.
yeah, I'm doing fine as well. Like I mentioned earlier, thank you for coming. It means a whole lot. Thank you so very much, Carol. Okay, Carol,
Well, thank you for having me. It's very
yeah,
exciting to be here.
I tell you. Okay, I'm quite excited to have you on the show, Carol, for some reasons. All right. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. You see, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew definition means knowledge and
Mm.
darkness means ignorance. I've been so keen to knowledge
Wow.
seeking because I do not want to stay in the dark. So that interest of mine as to knowledge seeking now is going to make this our conversation a very important one to me. Okay. Now the second
Mm.
reason why I'm excited to have you on the show, Carol, is for the sake of the listeners. I believe there are some things that that some of my audience needs to hear you say these stuff, directly from your mouth in order for them to experience transformation. I firmly believe that. And lastly, that is me, all right? I believe I'm definitely going to learn one or two things from your story, your insight, and your experiences. So for that reason, Carol, let's get started. Okay, now I want you to view me, and not only me, and the audience by the time they'll be listening to, sorry, by the time they'll be listening to our conversation, I want you to view us as your student now. Okay, we want to learn from you, and you're our
Okay.
teacher. Yeah, good. So for that reason, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your journey, how you got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Carol, over to
Well,
you.
I love that. I love that. I think your introduction already, it set such a good premise for me. I feel like this is such a safe space and a welcoming space. I am excited to share and teach a little, but I also wish to be a student and just gain so much because I already feel like I'm gaining so much from just being in this interview. So thank you again. My journey is quite, I guess, a traditional one, if in that sense. I was originally born in Cuba and my parents brought me to South Africa. So a child of immigrant parents. Anybody who knows immigrant parents knows that you have three career paths: doctor, lawyer, or something that brings money, like an accountant. I decided I was not going to study that. But I did go to university and I did all of that very well. And I ended up working in hotels in business development. So I worked in a corporate role. I really enjoyed it. I loved doing marketing there. I loved doing forecasting. It was quite a diverse role, but I was very burnt out. And I think a lot of us listening to this can relate in the sense that we get this job. We're told after leaving high school or university, we have to get this job. And then you just work and work and work and work. And like, there's nothing else. It's like, well, when does the reward come? Because like 2 days a week is not enough, you know? It got to the point where I was living past my family. I was not going to Christmases or holidays. And it was very sad that I was living past them and I just didn't want that for myself. But I was also very happy in my role. So eventually, fast forward a little bit, when my husband proposed to me, I decided there has to be more. And in that moment, I took a moment and I just asked God, well, what's next? And what can I do? What can I do to continue to serve and work and do what I do, but that there's more for me? And for me, it felt like I had to be my own boss to make that happen. That was very scary for me because no one in my family has ever had their own business. So for me, it was like, everybody's like, what are you doing? Wow, stop. Don't do that. We sent you to university to go get a job. Why are you trying to risk it? It was very controversial, but I knew in my heart that it was the journey for me, and I followed it. And funny enough, the year I started my business officially was the same year COVID started. And if that's not divine timing, I don't know what is. Because I literally could have been working at a hotel where I would have lost my job, I would have lost my income, but I was already in my own working for myself, doing digital marketing, which became such a valuable resource, especially during that time of the pandemic where everybody needed support to be online. So in a way, I would say to your listeners, you know, that little voice in your heart that's telling you to do something and it's scary, listen to it. Because often it's going to bring you to the most wonderful places that you'd never even imagined. So that's kind of how I got to where I am today. Today, I run an agency where I help people with Facebook ads. But yeah, that's kind of how I got here.
Beautiful, amazing. You know, you mentioned something that caught my attention. That part where you said you ask God, what next? That's amazing. Because you see, I love the fact that you were consulting a higher power for divine instruction. And you see how God played it out.
Mm,
You know, you mentioned that if you had been working in a hotel or somewhere, you would have probably lost your job because of the COVID, but everything happened at the right timing and all of that. That is very,
yes.
very interesting and inspiring. You know, whenever
Yeah.
you're in a situation now, you just have to look up to God for instructions, ideas. What should I do? How should I go about it? Okay, I got that. So shall we get started with the questions?
Yes, of course. How
Okay.
exciting.
Okay. So what made you to or what made you decide to specialize in Facebook ads? Can you talk to us about that?
So, when I decided to choose marketing, there were many careers I could have done. I could have been a social media manager, I could have gone into graphic design, but I always knew, you know, bringing it back to a calling, that I always knew that I came from a place of service and I knew I wanted to serve people. I wanted to help people specifically. And in a nutshell, when you run any type of advertising, all you are really doing is you are putting a magnifying glass on somebody's business or their offer. So, what a better way to serve than to just bring light to someone's message and to someone's offer? So, for me, that's why I chose this career, because I feel like I work with some of the best people and I get to put them in front of people who truly need their help and services. And by that way, I'm just being of service. And I love that.
Wow. You know, you're just mentioning some very important keywords today. Service again. You see, I love that part, service, because like I was saying to someone yesterday, I said many companies and they put profit first, then service
Mm.
later. Because I was sharing with the person I mentioned on how I got an issue and I reached out to the support and it took them 3 days for them to reply to good morning, then another 3 days for them to attend to my problem now. You know, saying listening to people like you who prioritize serving the people, it's actually very, very inspiring and I feel like people like those folks who prioritize profit more than service needs to sit down and listen to you speak because you've
Well,
got some. I tell you,
well, I
you've.
agree with you.
I tell you, I tell you, it's just really, really sad. You know, I thank God for your life, Carol, and that's a good one. Okay, on to the next question now. All right, you know, Facebook ads. I have spent
Hmm.
some some bucks on it, and it has just been horrible and not bringing any result. So now our conversation is very important, not only to the audience now, but even to me.
Yeah,
Okay. So can you talk to us about the first step, to Facebook ads, how to run
sure.
an effective ads on Facebook, Can you talk to us about that?
Sure. So I'm sorry that that was your experience. I often find that when people have a negative experiences with ads, it comes down to like one or two common things. One, they didn't have a very clear goal or objective. And I'm sorry to say this, making money is not an objective. It can't be. Or number two, they have not really put a tried and tested offer in front of even a service in front of their ads. So like I mentioned earlier, ads only magnify what you have, right? So if you, for example, don't have an offer or a service that you've never done before, let's say you want to start a brand new company and you've never done this company before, you don't know where the problems are, you don't know even how to do the service, but now you want to advertise so people can come and use your service. Well, when all these people come, you're going to feel inundated, right? You're not going to be ready for them. You're not going to know what is step number 1, what's step number 2, how do we do this? Like the company you mentioned, it takes them 3 days to answer a response. Well, that's clearly because they don't have SOPs in place, a standard operating procedures in place that tell people, hey, when we get an email, we need to reply within 24 hours. How do we reply? Even they could have sent you a little email, like a standard one, like saying, hi, Elijah, thank you so much for your email. We've acknowledged it. Please note that one of our customer representatives will be with you within 24 hours. So it's important to make sure that you have all your offer is very, very tested before you test with ads. And the first thing that I mentioned, which was the objective, is what do you want to get out of it? I understand most business owners want sales. They want money. But there's something more than that, right? Depending on the campaign that you use. So one of the things you could do is say, okay, well, instead of just selling, my candle or my product or my course, what can I get before that? Imagine you are at a bar. Okay, I want everyone to just close their eyes. Let's pretend we're at a bar. Okay, now at this bar, you're there and you're looking great, you're having a great time, and a young lady or young man walks up to you and they say, wow, you are the most amazing person I've seen today. I want to marry you. You're probably going to laugh at them. You're going to laugh at them and be like, excuse me, sir, you're a little bit forward. This is too soon. I don't know you like this. You can buy me a coffee and then we can figure it out. It's the same thing with an ad. How can you expect someone to buy your product when they've just met you? On average, it takes about like it used to be about 7 different touch points, but now because people's attention span is so small, it's about like close to 20 times people need to interact with your product, whether it's on an ad or an email or seeing you on social media, before they feel like, I'm familiar with that. Let me give it a chance. And in that case, it may be that they only want to give you their email. That's probably good enough because you can continue nurturing them and then get something out of it. But I'm curious, Elijah, what type of ads did you run? Maybe I can help you out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. You can help me out. You can. I am confident about that. I wrote a book, so I was trying to promote the book. It's actually a self-improvement book, and I think I realized my mistake already. Let's say
Okay.
I wasn't so clear with the objective. All right, that part where you mentioned, yeah, I think that's where I got it all wrong. But you see, you're
I
still okay. Go on, please.
thank you. I just want to say for the book, firstly, congratulations on being an author. I love this for you. I love this journey for you.
Thank you.
I would say for the book, the best thing to write or to create that is maybe to create an email list. So to run an ad to say to people, hey, would you like to get chapter 1 of my book? And tell them why chapter 1 is so imperative, why it's so helpful for them. And then have them in like an email sequence say to them, if you enjoyed this, you're going to find so much value in my book. But you already have their email address. So whether they buy your book or they don't, there's other products or things or services that you can help them with, So the book is only one small piece of the entire funnel. You could also just run ads to if you had like a launch and you were launching the book again, or it's an anniversary or a special event, and say like, hey, do you want to attend this masterclass that I'm running that's focused around my book? Register for this event. And then again, you're capturing an email, you're capturing information. And then you host the event. And at the event, you can be like, you can purchase the book or go beyond. Everybody who comes to the event gets the book for free, but you're giving something else away, like you're selling something else. So there's always something happening. So many ideas to this book. I think you got this. I think you got this.
Yeah. I mentioned before we get started that I am convinced that I'm definitely going to learn one or two things from you. And Carol, that is happening already. Nah. This is
I'm glad.
beautiful. Okay. We still have two more questions to go. All right. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. Okay. Many people wonder why should they invest in Facebook ads? There might be someone listening now who has had that same experience like the one I had, and they're wondering, okay, why should
Mm,
I still invest in Facebook ads? What would you like to say to such
mm.
people? Maybe the
I
importance, the
would say,
advantage, and all of that.
I love that question. I would say investing in Facebook ads is investing in yourself. There's so many people out there who are so quick to invest in coaching or a course or software or something like that. And you're not guaranteed any results in doing any of those things, right? At the end of the day, when you finish the course, you don't get anything but maybe the knowledge that you gained. When you finish doing coaching with someone, maybe they were a great coach and you got good results, or maybe they were a terrible coach and you feel like you're actually stepping back, right? It could also be that you spent money on software and the software didn't work how you did. So again, you invested in something and it brought nothing. I find that when people invest in ads, you are investing in yourself. And when was the last time you actually poured into your own cup? Now, we need to pour into our own cups constantly, because if we do not, how will we pour into others? And that's why I think investing in ads is so important, because when you spend money, you get something out. Now, I'm not talking about running ads for vanity metrics. And if you have ever run ads and you press that magical little boost button that is on Facebook or Instagram, please don't. Please never press it again. Because that magical little boost button, all it does, it gives you vanity metrics. And what vanity metrics are is that Facebook will tell you, hey, I showed your ad to 1 million people. Hey, I got you 1 million views. Okay, but now what? We have to go back to what I said in the beginning. What was the objective? If the objective was to be seen by 1 million people, congratulations, your money was well spent. If your objective was to grow an email list so that you could launch your book, but you have no one on that list, you have clearly failed. So you want to make sure that when you create an ad campaign, you have a very clear goal so that when you spend money, you know, okay, I'm putting $1 in, $2 in, $5, $10, and I'm getting this much out. It's also very important to know that once you have spent that money, how are we going to continue it? Because again, ads are not business rescues. They're just great opportunities for sales, right? So they'll bring you someone into your world, but what are you doing to take them on that adventure to become your client? You know, I mentioned putting them on an email list. That's a great way, but you could also start a messenger conversation with them. Maybe you want to go back and forth that way. You could also get them to, if you're very active on Instagram or you're very active on Facebook, you could get them to follow you. And if you do stories or you do podcasts, they could see your things. It depends on what your goal is and driving them to that objective. That would be why I would say people need to invest in ads, because you're investing in yourself and your business.
I never knew that. I never knew that. That was so educating. I got that.
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you so
okay.
much.
Yeah, Carol. Okay, so lastly, let us talk about budgeting. Like, how much do you think is the, let's say, right budget? I think at times too, when the budget is too low, it might not get the
Mm.
necessary result. Or what do you think?
Okay, I love this question. I think with budget, it's very dependent, again, on what you want to do. So let's picture it this way. If you have a little ad and it's this small, right? It's like as small as this little matchstick that I have here, right? You can see it. You can see some writing there, but it's very, very tiny. So this is our small budget, right? When we have a bigger budget, it's going to be more like that, right? This is easier to see. You can see it very clearly, right? Both will get you results. This one will obviously be faster because more people can see it quickly. This one will obviously be slower because less people will see it quickly. What I always recommend to every single one of my clients is budget is not important. What is important is how much patience you have to get the results, right? So for the first week, I often say to my clients, let's create a baseline, right? Let's create a baseline. And the baseline can be something like you could do $20 for the first 7 days, as an example, right? You can convert this into your own currency, but as a standard, $20 a day, right? For 7 days. Then you run your campaign and you can see, okay, if for me to get a result, it costs me $1, then I have to spend, and I'm spending 20 every day, I'm going to get 20 results. If it costs me $10 and I'm spending 20, I'm only going to get 2 opportunities, right? So now you have to sit with yourself and you have to say, is 2 opportunities, right, enough for me to get to my result? Is 2 opportunities enough for me to have enough people see my offer and then turn into a client? Or do I need to put in more money to get more opportunities? There are obviously things that you can do to try bring that cost per result down. But generally, we don't own Facebook. So a lot of these factors are determined by the algorithm, right? There's little things you can do, maybe create a better ad, maybe have better copy, improve your landing page, marginal things. But on average, the cost is the cost. And you as the business owner, or the person running the ad, has to take a moment and say, is this enough for me for right now? If the answer is no, unfortunately, you might have to spend more. And if the answer is yes, then continue with your ad budget. And that's it.
I got that. I got that. Oh, okay. These are very important informations now. I would have to listen to our conversation again and again and again because you said some very insightful stuff here. Okay, Carol, to bring this to an end, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those ones who would like to reach out to you, learn more about what you do, maybe you said some things that resonated with them and they'd like to learn more. How can that be possible?
So firstly, again, thank you so much, Elijah, for having me on your podcast. This was very fun and I felt like it's a very warm space. So I appreciate just being here. This was amazing. I would like to leave people with ads are not scary. You can do this. It is not scary. You can do this. Take a moment and invest in yourself. You're probably spending that money already on coffee or a new top or something else. So why not invest it in you? And if you'd like to find out if you're ready to run Facebook ads, I have a wonderful quiz on my website that's only 9 questions long, just 2 minutes, and it will tell you if you're ready to run Facebook ads today.
Beautiful, powerful. Okay, what is your website? Can you share it with us?
Sure. It is Carol Kabaale, and then the quiz is on /quiz. So just Carol Kabaale /quiz, and it will be there.
Okay, beautiful. So that's going to be the end of the show. Thank you so very much, Carol. Thank you. It means a whole lot. Thank you for sharing this, invaluable information with us. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
Thank you.